Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something about relationships, man. See, in the beginning, it's all fireworks, smooth talk, and sweet nothings. You meet somebody and suddenly you're smiling at your phone for no reason, checking if they texted back even when you know they're busy. Everything about them just feels right. The way they talk, the way they laugh, the way they look at you. It's like God personally dropped them into your life with a note that said, here you go. That right there is the romance stage. That's where the magic begins. The stage, ooh, it's intoxicating. You can be up till 3 a.m. just talking. You don't even notice the time because it feels like you've known them forever. You get butterflies just seeing their name pop up. You're planning dates, sending good morning texts, and putting in real effort. And here's the funny part, even their flaws look cute. They talk too much, you love that they're expressive. They eat a little messy, you say it's adorable. You overlook everything because your heart is in charge, not your brain. Now listen, I ain't saying that's a bad thing, that's beautiful. That energy, that connection, that joy, is a part of every love story. It's what draws people in. But don't get it twisted. This stage isn't where real love is, not yet. What you're feeling is attraction, chemistry, excitement. It's what I like to call the highlight reel. You're seeing the best version of each other, the carefully curated presentation. Ain't nobody showing up to the first few dates with morning breath and bills in hand. You ain't arguing over who's taking out the trash or what to watch on Netflix. You're too busy impressing each other. This is the stage where you start thinking, maybe this is the one, and maybe they are. But don't let the smooth beginnings fool you. Everybody's a star in the first act. The real performance comes later. See, in this romance stage, people are still hiding some parts of themselves, not in a deceitful way, but in a human way. We all want to be liked. We all want to be chosen. So we show the parts of ourselves we know will be accepted. You know what else happens in this stage? You start filling in blanks with your imagination. You start seeing potential instead of reality. If they're a little late, you say, oh, they're just busy. If they don't text back quickly, oh, they must be in a meeting. You give them the benefit of the doubt every time because you want it to work so bad. And that's what love feels like in the beginning. It feels like hope, but let me break this down for you. That rush of emotions, that intensity, that's not love. It's the idea of love. It's the story you start writing in your head. And that story sounds so good, you don't want to stop reading. But baby, love ain't a fairy tale. Love is a real life, everyday commitment. It's going to require more than butterflies and chemistry. So while you're in this stage, enjoy it, but don't get blinded by it. Pay attention. Ask real questions. Don't just focus on how they make you feel. Look at how they treat people, how they handle stress, how they talk about their past, because those things will matter later when the shine wears off and life kicks in. What I'm saying is this, the romance stage is beautiful, but it's not the whole book. It's just the introduction. And if you mistake the introduction for the whole story, you'll be shocked when the plot changes. You gotta stay grounded. Love is built, not just felt. So yes, enjoy the late night talks, the cute nicknames, the butterflies, but keep your eyes open too, because the person who shows up when everything is easy ain't the same one you'll meet when life gets real. And that's when you'll find out what kind of relationship you really got. But let me tell you what happens after the romance starts to settle. That first stage is all sweet talk and soft music, but eventually something shifts. You start noticing things, and I ain't talking about nothing big at first. I mean little stuff like how they chew too loud, how they never seem to put the cap back on the toothpaste, or how they forget to text back sometimes. That's when you've officially entered the reality stage. And baby, this is where the truth shows up. Now listen, this ain't a bad thing. This stage is necessary because you can't stay on cloud nine forever. Life don't work like that. Bills got to get paid, people get stressed, schedules get tight. You're not always going to be in the mood to be cute. That's when the masks start coming off and you see each other for who you really are. Not just the representative they sent out in the beginning, but the real person behind the smile. This is when the relationship gets tested. I mean, really tested. You might have your first real argument. Not just a disagreement over where to eat, but something that hits a nerve. And suddenly you're not just mad, you're confused. You're sitting there wondering, who is this person? But the truth is, that's the same person who gave you butterflies a few weeks ago. You're just now meeting the rest of them, the unfiltered version. See, here's what nobody tells you. Love will always face reality. It has to. Because sooner or later, you both stop trying to impress and start just trying to live. And when that happens, everything that was easy now requires effort. Communication becomes more important than compliments. Patience becomes more valuable than passion. You start learning that love is not a feeling, it's a choice. Don't get scared. This stage don't mean your relationship is doomed. It means you're graduating to a deeper level. But this is the part where most people quit. Why? Because they were only in love with the version of that person from stage one. They were in love with the idea, not the individual. And when reality kicks in, it messes up the fantasy. You realize they're not perfect. Guess what? Neither are you. Yeah, that's the beauty of it. You've got to decide, can I love them as they are, not just as I imagine them to be? Can I work through the hard conversations? Can I listen without getting defensive? Can I forgive when it hurts? Because that's where real love is forged. Not in the good days, but in the tough ones. It's the same at Quappery. God bless integrity of life. You're going to learn each other's triggers, fears, insecurities, and past scars. You're going to step on each other's toes. You might have days when you don't even like each other. But if you hang in there, if you keep showing up with honesty and respect, something incredible happens. You stop chasing the perfect moment and start building something solid. Let me be real with you. It's easy to run when things get uncomfortable. That's what the world teaches now. If it ain't perfect, walk away. But let me ask you something. Do you walk out of your job every time your boss stresses you out? Do you leave your family when they disappoint you? No, you work through it. You show up again and again. Why should love be any different? In this stage, communication is everything. Not just talking, but listening, understanding, and adjusting. You don't win in relationships by being right. You win by being committed. You win by being willing to unlearn old habits, by being vulnerable enough to say, I was wrong, or I need you to meet me halfway. This reality stage, it's where the work begins, but it's also where the roots grow. If you can weather the misunderstandings, the discomfort, the tough days, you build trust. Not just the kind that says, I love you, but the kind that says, I'm not leaving even when it's hard. Anybody can love you in the sunshine. It's the one who stays through the storm that matters. Now, if you done made it through the romance and reality, congratulations, you're stepping into something serious now. This is what I call the responsibility stage. And don't let that word scare you. See, most folks think love is all about feelings, but the real ones know feelings change, commitment don't. At this stage, love matures. It gets legs. It learns how to walk through life, not just dance through the good time. This is where you both realize that love is not just what you say, it's what you do. It's not enough to say, I got you. You got to show up consistently when it's hard, when it's uncomfortable, when life starts throwing curveballs. And believe me, life will test that love. Someone's going to lose a job. Someone's going to get tired. Somebody's going to have a bad day, maybe a bad season. In this stage, it asks one question. Can I count on you even when I'm not at my best? See, in the beginning, it's about how you feel. But now, it's about how you function. How do you resolve conflict? How do you support each other's goals? How do you share the weight of responsibility, money, kids, health, in-laws, dreams, disappointments? Because this stage is where love meets real life, and real life don't play fair. Now, I'll be honest with you, you're not always going to feel in love at this point, and that's okay. Anybody who's been married or deeply committed will tell you, some days love looks like making dinner when you're tired. Some days it's keeping your mouth shut when you want to win the argument. Some days it's choosing to listen instead of walking away. That ain't sexy. That ain't glamorous, but that's love. This is where respect becomes the foundation. Not butterflies, not gifts, not compliments. Respect. Because respect don't fade when you're mad. Respect don't disappear in an argument. When you respect your partner, you don't raise your voice just because you can. You don't throw low blows or walk out when they need you to stay. You remember who they are even when you're disappointed in them. So let me tell you something else. This stage is not 50/50. That's a lie they sell you in fairy tales. Love ain't about keeping score. Some days you give 80 when they only got 20. Other days they carry you. That's what partnership looks like. You balance each other, not compete with each other. You cover their weaknesses and they cover yours. You build each other up, not tear each other down. Another thing about this stage, you grow together, you evolve. Because you start realizing we ain't the same people we were when we met. You're supposed to change. Life changes you. The question is, are you willing to grow in the same direction? Are you cheering each other on? Are you holding each other accountable in love, not judgment? This is also where your vision as a couple becomes real. Y'all start asking deeper questions. What are we building? What legacy are we leaving? How are we serving each other, our families, our community? Because love is deep. It ain't just about you anymore. It's about what you're creating together. It's about building a foundation that your kids, your friends, even strangers can look at and say, that's what real love looks like. Let me tell you, the responsibility stage is the most beautiful part of the relationship. It don't come with as many fireworks, but it comes with peace. It comes with security. You know, someone's got your back. You don't have to perform anymore. You can be vulnerable, be real, and still be loved. That's freedom. That's power. That's grown-up love. So if you're in this stage, keep watering it. Keep choosing each other. Keep showing up even when it's inconvenient, because love don't maintain itself. You got to maintain it. Like a garden, it needs care, it needs forgiveness, it needs prayer, and most of all, it needs two people who refuse to give up on each other no matter what life throws at them. Let me break something down for you that a lot of people don't want to hear. Infatuation is not love. It feels like love. It looks like love. It even talks like love. But let me tell you something. It don't last. Infatuation is that high you get when everything is new. It's that rush, that spark, that thrill. You think about them all day. You laugh at every joke, even when it's corny. You stay up late talking about your favorite songs and childhood memories like you found your twin flame. But here's the truth. That phase, it's a setup for something deeper, but only if you're willing to go through the reality check. See, when you're infatuated, you're not seeing the person, you're seeing the idea of them. You're falling in love with a story in your head. And stories are perfect, but people are not. Now, when reality shows up, it shows up uninvited. It don't knock on the door, it just walks in. One day, you look at them and something shifts. That thing they did that used to make you laugh, now it gets on your nerves. You realize they don't handle stress the way you do. Maybe they shut down. Maybe they get snappy. Maybe they got a short fuse or a bad habit you didn't notice before. This is where real love has its opportunity to begin. Not during the good times, but right there. When you're disappointed, when the fantasy fades, when the flaws show up, that's the moment when your heart has to ask the hard question. Can I love them even when they're not lovable today? Because let me tell you something, real love don't wait for perfect conditions, it shows up anyway. See, people think love is a feeling. Feelings are fleeting. You feel happy one minute, sad the next. You feel motivated today, lazy tomorrow. But love is not a feeling, it's a decision. It's a choice you make every single day, even when it's inconvenient, even when it's frustrating, even when you don't feel like choosing them, but you do it anyway. Because that's what commitment looks like. When infatuation fades, and it always does, what you're left with is truth. The truth about who you're dating, the truth about yourself. And now you got to work with what's real. This is where the relationship either breaks or it builds. Some folks panic when that spark fades. They think it means the relationship is over. No, baby, it means the illusion is over. Now you're finally seeing clearly. And the question is, do you have what it takes to build love on truth instead of fantasy? This is the part where folks say, we grew apart. Now y'all didn't grow apart. You just stopped pretending and started seeing each other for who you really are. And that's where the work begins. That's where the growth begins. That's where love begins. You know what's powerful? Loving someone after the excitement is gone. Loving them when they're having a bad day. Loving them when they've disappointed you but are still trying. Loving them when they're vulnerable, scared, or struggling with something from their past. That's love, man. That's the kind that lasts. That's the kind that can raise kids, start businesses. Infatuation is like fireworks. Beautiful, intense, and gone in a flash. But real love, that's like a fireplace. It don't explode, it don't dazzle you all at once. But it burns steady, it warms the whole house, and it stays lit through the storm if you keep feeding it. So if you're sitting there wondering why the spark is gone, don't panic. That don't mean it's over. That might just mean it's time to take off the rose-colored glasses and put on your work gloves. Because now is when you decide if you're just in it for the rush or if you're ready for the real ride. And let me tell you something, the real ride, that's where the joy is, that's where the peace is, that's where the roots grow deep. You can't build a house on a fireworks show, but you can build a home on steady love, honest conversations, mutual respect, and the courage to keep choosing each other, even after the shine fades.